You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good evening, everyone, and as always, welcome to the Pace Radio Show. Good evening, Tamara. How are you tonight?
Hotter than Satan's balls. Let's put it
What?
that way.
Oh!
Meanwhile, I
wasn't expecting that, I'll tell you. But you got a fire going on behind you.
Well, because I don't want to have, Trump or something, that's distracting.
Right.
So I just read that because it's just a kind of bad. But yeah, it's like 31 degrees here.
Oh, so we got more of that coming then.
It's supposed to go down. We're supposed to have a thunderstorm, which we're kind of it's kind of brewing up right now.
Yeah.
You can see because it's been hot for the last 4 days. And then we're probably going to have a little thunderstorm. And then it's supposed to be 33 and 32 all weekend.
Oh, so next week for us, gonna get another round of scorchers.
Well,
that's August weather.
Oh yeah, like my air conditioner was in the living room, my little portable one. It's now in the entranceway to my bedroom, and I'm not leaving. I haven't left this little area because it's so hot.
I was out for a walk with the dog before the show, and talking to a friend on the phone. It's just crunchy. The grass is just crunchy. It's so dry.
Like we had I went out camping last week, like Wednesday through Friday, like I had mentioned to you, right? And then Friday or Thursday night it poured, and I was a dumbass, left my sunroof open in my car. So I was with this much water, and it was just not smart. But again, we weren't expecting rain, right? So
right.
It rained Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then it got hot Monday, and it's been hot Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So,
well, they said it's dry.
It's still dry. It's still crunchy. It's still crunchy. I went to thinking I could mow the lawn, but it's better to leave the lawn longer because it's been so damn hot. But the grass is brown even with the rain.
Yeah. Just quick note for our viewers on some of our notifications that. We sent out when we started the broadcast. It mentions that Haley and Cheryl Rose were going to be our guests tonight, and some of the notifications don't say that. Just that Facebook wouldn't let me change. Wouldn't allow me to change it.
We were right up until Haley just had a rough night because of the weather. Right, weather's changed, and she's just super tired, and she really wanted to come on tonight because she had so much to say on Monday on my show. We went over because she had a list. She had made a list of all the updates that she wanted to get on. So we were right down to almost the final one on the list, and and I knew I had a little more time, but I didn't want to go over. We were already over 15 minutes as it was. I could have gone longer. I says, how about we hold it? We'll have you come on the Pace Radio Show on Wednesday night because we have 90 minutes, and then you can make another list, and then we can go through that list, right?
Yeah.
Let's do that. So she's just tired, but they will come on next week. Like she said, we'll just reschedule for next week. I said, I'm sure that'll be fine, but of course we're all patients, right? We all have our medical.
Exactly. We're all patients.
Yeah, and sometimes at the last minute we have to tap. I've been there. I was supposed to go with Michelle Rainey the weekend that her and Jeff were in Calgary for a Cannabis Cup, and I ended up that I couldn't get off the toilet all weekend.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That was the only chance.
I understand. Believe me, I understand.
I couldn't make it there, and I was so disappointed because that was the time I was going to meet Michelle, and then I never got to meet Michelle in person. Talking to her on the phone.
Oh, you never got to meet her in person?
No, because I was sitting in the toilet that whole weekend, right? And like I said, I talked to her on the phone.
Yeah.
And my colonoscopy, the day I got my colonoscopy for my diagnosis was the day she died.
No, Oh, look at that. Looks like the stream isn't showing up on
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Surprise.
They're working to fix it. So there you go. We just
I have these.
And just so you know, when I came into the studio, I don't know if you noticed it, whether you saw it or not, but there is a notice there that saying that the StreamYard streams are having issues with some browsers and being able to work
Well, I know
on some
last night,
music.
Rachel Gilmore was doing a live stream on TikTok, StreamYard, and Instagram.
Yeah.
And she had 3 screens going, and she was having problems with StreamYard too. And that was last night.
Yeah.
It kept glitching on her and stuff too. But she's Rachel Gilmore's a journalist, a Canadian journalist, and she runs kind of like her own independent because she was supposed to be on a panel with the election cycle, and she's got a lot of hate. So because of the hate from the right, they actually pulled her because they didn't want the controversy.
Oh.
There's a couple of them. Same with Bridging the Gap. He's that paramedic in Calgary that really puts out what's going on in Alberta. And they actually gave him a cease and desist and made him stop and made him take down all his content. And then he won and was able to put everything back up. So, yeah. And I'm not surprised about it because it's a US base and TikTok too. They're going to change everything.
Right. Talking about Calgary, before we get talking about Alberta, I got some stuff to talk about Alberta. I was going to bring that up, being you mentioned Alberta, but before we get into that, CSP. I know we bring it up every time we have a show, and I know there's been a bit of, the last time we were talking, a bit of a struggle.
It's still. We're still sitting with no supplies. I mean, I've got like toothbrushes and mitts and socks and all that kind of stuff. But as far as supplies go, and I've got no funds because I'm not working anymore. Like, let's face it. Like when I was working, I was supplementing and buying stuff because I could. I shouldn't. I promised my husband I wouldn't. But again, when you're doing what you do, sometimes you have to.
You have a big heart, and you're helping people, right?
So what I've got left right now is I've got 2 packs of CBD cookies, and that's it. But apparently, I've got an anonymous donor with a package sent to me. So
good.
We'll be back up and running here as soon as I get that package, and then I will run out to the Dart and see if they've got anything for me out there. I just don't go out there very often because I take them a lot of stuff when I go, and I don't want to be that person that's in there every other day looking for.
No. You gotta give them time to sell stuff.
Right.
No, exactly.
And I haven't been out there now for probably about 6 weeks.
Because I just say go once a month type thing,
Yeah, because
even at that, it's just going in and touching base. Saying hi, it's.
I've been out there a couple times. To buy stuff, and they haven't had anything, right? So like I said, so it's been about 6 weeks probably since I've been out there. But again, I got my car fixed, so now I can go other places, and I won't sound like I'm driving down the street.
Well, at least this way, maybe you'll have some funds there, and you can pick up some supplies.
Well, and like I said, right now, like I've got no RSO. I've got a little tiny bag of decarbolized shake that was sent out to me like in the very beginning. So it's probably enough to do 1 batch of butter, but I've been kind of hoarding that and hanging on to it. And I've got a little bit of THC drops left too, but I've been, like I said, kind of hoarding that, hanging on to it so that when I do get things going again, I can use that to bake. There's no point in baking stuff because it goes bad, right? Like I can't bake cookies now and then hope that in 6 weeks I end up with some other supplies so I can go out. I have to wait. It's just all timing, right? Things are all about timing, and like I said,
getting enough supplies to go out there with, instead of going out with just a dozen cookies or 2 dozen cookies.
Well, exactly. Like I've got this cookie that one of my lovely gave to me, and it's about this much full of for pre-rolls and stuff. But that's great. It's great. I appreciate it all, but again, it's just not.
It has to be part of something else that's going.
Right. So I've been adding to it. Like every time I empty a jar, I've been adding to it, right? So I mean it's getting pretty full, right? And this is all stuff that I'll do pre-rolls with. But again, like I said, that's probably only gonna do maybe 30 joints, maybe if I'm
it depends on the size of your joints.
When you've got 40 people out there that you're usually regularly handing out to,
correct.
And then it's like right? Because I usually don't even do that. Usually it's 2 grams in a bag with some papers, usually 1 edible, and if I've got some RSO or whatever, right? There's some candy and some, but I'm also not working at the store, so I'm not getting all the chips and the write-offs anymore either.
No, it's right. And it's not a location where people could come and bring you stuff either.
well, they could bring me, anybody could drop stuff off at my house. And that's what I say to people. Like I've got, like I said, but I've got socks and I've got but we don't need tubes
Right.
right now, right? I got stuff still left. I got boxes of it. In fact, I just took it all out of my car so I could clean my car so I can go car camping.
Oh yeah, I seen your post about car camping. Yes.
So my mattress came because
Car life. Go car. Let's car life.
Yeah, it was because I'm not. I can't do a tent. Like with my arthritis, there's no way I'm going to get down on a mattress on the ground in a tent. So
One of those thick mattresses are good at cot.
I bought a blow up one for the SUV that just slides right into the back of your car. You put your seats down, you pop the little popper in the air pump, and it blows right up and it fits right in the back of my car. So then I can just like open
Put all your gear in the front seat.
Yeah, got a little cooler that's like it's a fridge. You plug it in and it runs all the time, so there's no ice, right? So it's one of the little electric coolers, and then I can just open the one side door and jump into my bed like I would here.
Yeah,
and it's like not going to be so that I'm hurt. Like we haven't done it yet, but because I can't afford a camper. Let's face it, and I don't have anything to pull. Anyways, this was my solution to not having.
Okay, yeah. Have you ever slept overnight in your car?
Okay. Oh, in my car, yeah. I have.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say my suggestion would be to, if you can, crack a window.
Oh, this is the best part, Al. I have mesh window coverings that you can leave the windows down and it's mesh, and then you can leave the back door open. And I got a mosquito mesh that covers the back door, so you can leave everything open. And
really?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Car camping. So they've got all these things so that you don't have to worry about cracking a window or doing,
Yeah, because you got a hatch crack.
Yeah, I've got a wagon. I've got an EcoSport. My door doesn't go up. My door goes out like a fucking station wagon.
Oh.
It doesn't. Yeah, so it opens like a station wagon, right? So that gives me that extra little bit of door space too, right? But yeah, it's a station wagon. So yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I was picturing like a hatchback, and you just put it over the hatch. Yeah, and that's how they go on.
I also bought one of those mosquito net tents, like that you take for camp. Like I said, a firm is a bad thing, especially when you're attention deficit and you're night shopping, and you can hit a firm and you can make payments.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did. Like my daughter says, "How much money did you spend?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "I get to pay it off on a firm."
As I mentioned Alberta earlier, did you know they've approved FarmGate for the cannabis in Alberta?
Oh, you mean like the pharmaceutical?
No, like a licensed producer producing their cannabis, obviously on their site, but they also have a store on there.
Oh, yeah.
That's FarmGate. So
FarmGate.
Yeah.
What a weird. Who would make that up? Why? Why think it's a called FarmGate?
Well, it's an agricultural. Number one, it's an agricultural product.
Well, I get it, but FarmGate. I get it, farm, but it sounds like farm. Like that's what
it was. I think originally the idea behind it was the small craft producer.
I get it.
Right.
But FarmGate just sounds like Pizzagate. It just makes me think of
yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. No, this is cannabis and politics. So they've started FarmGate in Alberta. They say as of July 2nd, it says so it's just started a week ago.
Nothing surprised me coming out of that place, especially now. And like I said, because we had such a hard time, like
it would allow a license. This license allows cannabis suppliers to sell cannabis products produced at their processing and cultivating facilities directly to consumers from a store at the production facility.
So cutting stores right out, basically.
Yeah. Now I would assume, I'm just looking for it here.
That sounds good for the licensed producers, but it doesn't sound good for the small business owners.
Yeah.
Like the people that have already invested into those businesses. Because but again, like how many producers are actually in Calgary? Like how I know.
Now they say that not all producers in the province are happy with the new changes. since the rules only allow a producer under the farm gate model to sell their own products and cannot participate in the same kinds of online sales that other retailers can utilize. Some say they don't see the benefit. So they can't even have an online.
Oh, so it's either storefront or online. You get one or the other.
A farm gate location or online.
That sounds like no freedom. I thought that was Alberta. Aren't they conservatives? Aren't they all about freedom? That sounds like it's a very free market. That sounds like it's being regulated.
Yeah, this one guy that they're talking to, he says that he built the facility thinking he could get a store, but the farm gate model has no upsides, no improvements in the economics of participating in Alberta, and restricts online sales and limits products only to those we grow ourselves.
You know what? That just sounds like a rich guy crying that he can't get richer. Wow.
He says the industry was not properly consulted on these new rules. I can see that.
Well, they never are.
Yeah.
They never are, especially because every province, again, it was a federal law, but then it was kicked back to the provinces to all make their own legislation, just like healthcare and education and everything else.
Yeah, right? He says that they were at an AGLC symposium 2 weeks prior to this announcement, and nothing was even mentioned to them at that time. So, but yeah, they've gone to that, and that's what I figured that would be one of the concerns, is the fact that they are restricted. I think even here in Ontario, they're restricted to their own products. Now, there's another thing to this.
The other licensed producers are going to share. They can't be a store. They can't have it. They can't have it both ways. You're going to be selling your product and only your product. Yeah, that's what you wanted. You wanted it, right? It's like an orchard, buddy. Like, the farm down the road. He's going to sell his own produce.
He's going to sell his own. He's going to have his own apples,
right? But he's going to go across the street to buy apples from somebody else, so he can sell them at a store.
Now, what wasn't mentioned in that article, but it was mentioned in a previous article that I've seen. Another twist to this, and this is the same thing here in Ontario. When you send products to the store, the product goes to the cannabis liquor.
Yeah, it goes through the here too.
And then it goes out to the stores.
Yeah, same thing.
Well, with the farm gate, it just goes from the production facility to the store. It never leaves the property. Okay.
Yeah.
But in both instances, the provincial governments want their cut as if it went through their distribution warehouse in order to go to the stores. Even though they don't touch it, they still want their hand in that.
Well, they're
going to get that money.
They do get their hand in. They get their PST.
Oh no, yeah, no, they want their other money. I realize they're going to get their tax.
The tariff from the farmer, right?
They want, that's what it is.
That's the thing. The farmers don't actually pay anything. They just get it taken off what they get paid. So it's a tax off their income. So because they're sending stuff to the Alberta, to say the Alberta or BC government or Ontario government, right? Yeah. The OCB or OC, whatever it is in Ontario, is the customer. They're selling their product. So when they get when they sell their product to that store, the store's taking or that OCB whatever, taking a cut of what they're paying them. So they're just taking a tax off of them. These guys aren't giving these guys a check. Like they don't.
No, they may receive back what their profit it would be on.
Right, and they take it off the profit of what they bought from the right.
But they obviously it's sold to the province at a lot lower price.
They're starting to sound a lot like the premiers of the provinces that say that they actually transfer payments. Nobody writes the federal government a fucking check, right? That doesn't happen. Everybody pays the taxes and it all goes into one coffer. Nobody's writing a check to the feds. The feds are writing checks back, right? So even in Ontario, the farmer is getting, a check, right? They're not giving a check to the Ontario government. They're getting a cut off of what they get paid. But they make it sound like they're writing a check and it's some boo-hoo story, victim story, when it's actually not. They twist it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. As far as everybody gets paid,
Yeah.
that's
And they make it sound like they're actually like having to write a check to the government, right? You do once a month PST checks and the GST checks.
Oh yeah. There's those checks
And
and all that. But as far as the when the product goes to like here the OCS, when it goes to the OCS distribution,
there's an
that
admin fee. Yeah, there's an admin fee for their handling, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's
That
gonna
that fee is still applied
right.
when they don't even touch it.
Well, they shouldn't do that. But again,
Yeah, but they
like,
do.
I
That's
think
where I
more
was
like
going.
I think it's like an HST, kind of like a handling fee,
Yeah,
right? No, they
yeah.
shouldn't. But they're still getting their cut. Like no matter how, they're still getting their
Oh,
cut,
they still want their money. There's no doubt
right?
about that. Yeah, oh, yeah,
And even
yeah.
when you go to the res, like I'm not kidding you. Like you buy from the res, what they charge me tax. I don't know who they're paying, but they're charging me tax on the res.
Maybe that's the band
Maybe
council.
there's a
Uh,
fly flying around. I'm
yeah.
gonna.
Now, I see there's another country now that is looking at legalizing cannabis.
Oh, look at that.
Switzerland. Switzerland says that they're going to open consultations on cannabis legalization. Now, this was announced back in February, but they're moving ahead with it.
Well, Germany has, right? Germany's
Yeah.
legalized, right? Poland's legal. Even with what Norway did with Amsterdam and stuff, it's still not a crime, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. It's low priority type thing. Yeah.
right. It's not like they're out rushing around trying to bust people for cannabis. And like I said on Monday with the show, like I said, a lot of us will never like we had to grow up where you had to sneak around and buy from a
Yeah.
seedy guy but our kids will never have to feel that. Our kids will never have to worry about getting busted for a joint. And if they start legalizing in Switzerland and other countries, that's even better because that means that the next generation populations will never have to be persecuted for a plant.
Thank you, Caroline. I'm just reading this, and something doesn't seem right. I keep getting stopped at one spot. It says, "Public health and youth protection must be placed at the heart of a renewed cannabis policy. Adults must be granted strictly regulated access to cannabis. In addition, to ensure that consumption is not encouraged, cannabis products must not be sold for profit. It must be subject to an incentive tax." What do you mean not be sold for profit? How does a business operate if they're not being sold for profit?
You don't open an incorporation, you open up under a non-for-profit. Because non-for-profits can still hi Carolyn.
Good evening.
We can they could non-for-profits can still pay staff, right? Pay for rent.
Yeah, true.
So, you know what I mean? So if they
Okay.
run as a non-for-profit instead of an incorporated business, then you're not making any profit because your profit's all going into paying.
Well, yeah. No, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't say it must be a not-for-profit business, but I maybe that's what they're talking about. Yeah.
Well, that's the only thing I can think of that makes any sense. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way you can run a business or have any brick and mortar of anything unless
Yeah.
your staff's all volunteers. Like, do you plan on
Right.
having volunteer staff? Like, volunteer growers? Like, who's going to grow? Like, are your
Mhm.
nutrients free? Like, what about the lights? Is the government going to give them their light bill for nothing?
No, they say lays the foundation for possible legalization.
Yeah.
Okay. No, they're going to consult with the public, but we know how that goes, right? They say that this is some of the key points that are in this. Cannabis will remain classified as a narcotic. Adult residents can cultivate up to 3 plants in their private residence. So that's in their private residences. So that means indoor only, from what I'm looking at that as.
Well, it says indoor residence. So
Yeah.
you would think so.
Now, it doesn't say it, adult residents can cultivate. Like, I'm wondering, it doesn't say residence. So that would mean like if there's like 3 people or 4 adults living in a house, could you grow 12 plants?
Well, that would make sense. I think it's kind of ridiculous in Canada that you can only grow 4 per property because what if you have a situation where you've got tenants or you've got 2 of you that need but again, you've got 2 adults, why?
Okay. Here you go. Eventually, sales will be subject to a state monopoly. Sales must not be for profit. Any profits are allocated to prevention, harm reduction, and addiction support.
That makes no sense.
If you can't have profits, how are you going to get any profits? Now, I like the idea of the profits going to prevent. Now, unless that's just towards cannabis, not for a harm reduction for all drugs.
That doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how anything can run without profit.
No advertising, including for cannabis seeds and cuttings, and accessories related to the cannabis consumption. So you can't advertise bongs. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Then it sounds like they've been taking, a few notes from the Canadians.
Well, the tax rate will be tied to the THC content and the type of consumptions.
Like I said, I'm not saying that children should be handed a doobie at the age of 10 either. Like, I'm not promoting usage for children. That's not what I mean. But even when we went to the consultations and stuff with them, it was all about safety and harm reduction, or safety and public health and safety. Baseline. That was always something that we come up with. Well, this is for public health and safety. It's not supposed to be an industry. They never wanted the stores and all the fucking hoopla that's gone on. They never wanted to have edibles and stuff in the stores. They wanted it for public health and safety. And Trudeau would have stood right in front of you and said, I didn't plan on this being a fucking gold rush or a green rush. And he didn't.
And that's what's happened to it. Now, penalties will be increased for people who evade the legal market, and zero tolerance for driving under the influence.
Okay. Again, these sound like barbaric rules for something that we know.
There would be a possession limit for personal amount of cannabis, but that hasn't been decided yet.
You can call it, like I said, it's going to be henny penny like it was here with them. And eventually all those laws that they're trying to will get laxed and they'll get changed and tweaked. And because I mean, look at how many things have changed even in the last 6 years or 7 years now that we've had legalization here. Farm gate and now lounges and the edibles and the drinks and stuff that they slowly brought to fruition. And again, they did the consultation about raising the limits. Again, in 5 years they'll do another one. Maybe by then we can get through to them that we need it raised. Maybe by then they'll realize that the sky hasn't fucking fallen and nobody eating too many or too many gummies from the store because, oh my God, 10 milligrams might put you to.
Well, I was away with some people there over the weekend, and they offered me some gummies, and I said, "Oh, cannabis gummies?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "How strong are they?" And they said 5 milligrams. They don't cause me to trip out really bad.
Well, some people don't want to do that.
Exactly. Not everybody wants a high dose THC.
And the thing of it is, when you're a patient, you need that high dose. It's not because you want to trip out either, right? And I can't eat it because if I do, I'm asleep, right? I'm non-functional because I don't make anything light. And if it's light, I don't really feel it. Like if I eat a 10 or a 20 of anything, it's like, am I getting anything out of this? 30 is like, okay, I can kind of function. If I get into the 50s and the 100s, I'm out.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. I'm sleeping, right? And some of the cannabis, like I said,
I've been affected at different levels.
Right.
And I've tried to try to figure out what it is, but it hasn't. I haven't got the exact numbers yet. So.
Well, and everybody's different. We're all individuals, and we're all going to have different reactions.
Did you use chocolate when you were consuming that? So
they say that mango enhances the effects.
That's because there's a terpene that's similar or the same between them.
Yeah. So I mean, depends on your individuality. Period. Like that's because
we're gonna head for break. We're gonna have a break. We can talk melons when we get back. Okay. We'll do a review. All right. Yeah. All right. Other than that, we'll head to our break, and when we get back, we'll continue our talk. We'll find out what those packages are from Tamara, and who knows? I got some other interesting stories and some studies here that we're going to discuss throughout the broadcast. Other than that, we will be. I got to find the. They've changed the way they lay out StreamYard, so I got to find things, right?
It's just women wouldn't read, and I'm like, no. I did the same thing.
All right, we'll be back in about 3 minutes. Talk to Shirley.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit. Are you looking for non-stop, continuous cannabis and psychedelic programming? If you are, then turn your browsers to 420radio.ca or paceradio.net, where you will find the 420 Pace Re-Rolled Saturday. Everything gets started at 8 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning. See that I was playing with the board, going, because as I mentioned before the commercial started, they've changed things. So
I was like, blip, and then I was like, oh, now we're here again.
So I thought I would see if I could reorganize it, because in the past I could reorganize the list while things were running. So that's what I went to do. I went to reorganize things, and all of a sudden that re-roll Saturday.
Oh, you can't touch it or it'll start playing. So it's like super touchy. You can't move it. It just wants to play.
It wouldn't. Yeah, I couldn't move it. It just went to play.
Oh, but so in other words, once you touch it, don't touch anything else.
Yeah. So let's try that again.
All right.
I'll just so you know, just so that we don't run the same thing again. I'll look. I have to look now for a different.
It's time to get a fly sweater
for a different one. Yeah, because they've moved everything around.
I know. I noticed that too.
Okay, I found one. There we go. We'll try it again. We'll be back.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Re-Rolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor? If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
And you're watching the Pace Radio Show. We're live. And during that break, not only did I have a problem with running the new way layout is, but all of a sudden I couldn't draw on my vape cartridge. So then I looked in the end, and it was plugged. And I thought, what? So I thought I'll take that cartridge off and I'll put a new one on.
Oh
and
no, the bloody thing busted again.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can.
Like
See
I
it.
was thinking.
There you go. It
Yep.
leaked. Look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
The son of a bitch.
Mine, like, it depends because I've got one here too somewhere. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
And like this one here, this is a new one we tried. It's a box puffs, and we got it at the store. It's a grape something. Taven wanted to try them, so and I mean it's been pretty good, but hit and miss. But it's close. You gotta. But I don't think it's doing that. Hang on, let me look because it could be wrong. Yeah, this one's good too. See, look at same thing, Al.
Yeah, leaking out.
They all do a little and this is one from the legal store. So
yeah, that one was too.
And again, I usually I try and keep them standing up. That's why I've been looking for a stand, but I got this stupid.
Well, this was standing up. It's been standing up for because this is one I rarely use.
My battery won't go in this little stand that I got. So.
Oh, wow. Damn cartridges, because then they can. At least it didn't pull the wires out of my battery like the last time this.
That's why I like these Kudos. These Kudos are the best little batteries ever. They're like $20, and they got the heater. And
what do you call it?
It's called a Kudo Pro, Kodo, and it's a Yokan. So they're made by Yokan, but it's the same as you can. So you can put your heat levels up. It shows you the battery life.
And it shows you the number of puffs.
Yeah. No. It doesn't show you the number of puffs. It just says.
Mine does.
And you can.
Mine does. Mine's by Tribal. Look at mine's. It's the same design as yours.
Cool.
But yours has got your name on it.
Right. So yeah, I got this, and I like it because, like I said,
you don't have puffs. Mine does.
Mine says one.
Bottom number. It's on the bottom left-hand side. It's underneath your voltage reading.
Oh, yeah, I do. 152p.
Oh, is that all? You just got that?
Yeah. No, it's almost done.
No, but yeah, I know. But you're gonna change the cartridge, right?
Yeah.
But as far as you just got that battery.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 152. Like I'm at.
Oh, I see. I mean the battery life on the battery.
No. The number of puffs on the battery.
That's what I mean. Like that'll be your battery life kind of thing, right?
No. That number keeps adding up, no matter after you recharge, unless you reset it.
Oh, I understand.
Leave it.
I
If you just leave it, the number just keeps accumulating. You can change the cartridges and all that, and it just keeps adding up the number of puffs.
Oh, I gotcha. I know, I getcha. Okay, so yeah, I've only had 152 puffs on this because this is the first cartridge it's had.
Right. Okay. I got almost. I was 235 or something around there, 250 with my first cartridge, and right now I'm at 1,500.
Oh yeah. This is like I said. This cartridge I bought when I bought the new battery because I have a brand new one laying around, a green one, the same.
Yeah.
On it, I put it down somewhere, and I still haven't found the fucking thing.
Oh. I'm just gonna try to clean up this.
I just remembered that I haven't found that. It's probably a good thing because I'm probably gonna squirrel out for the next night now looking for it. Anyways, I did buy this stuff. It's a new one, right? New powered by Sitka. Sitka.
Yeah.
And, it's called Grenade, and it is packaged May 20th, 2025. Grown by Sitka Weed Works Inc. I have no idea. It says 250, so it must be in BC somewhere. Sitka Weed Works Inc. It's brand new to the store.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sitka grows and collaborates with the legends of the industry to supply premium cannabis that speaks for itself. We always have and always will support the legacy-founded businesses and producers of the cannabis industry. That's written on the back of this.
Huh.
This is an indica dominant. It says total THC 36%, 3.4% terpene. Dominant
Yeah.
terpene, beta carotene, and linalool.
Oh, terpenes, yeah. The I see here that they've got this. They've done a study. They've released a study that says that these are the reasons why senior citizens are consuming tons of cannabis.
Because they're smart. They always did. They just finally jumped out of the closet.
Let's see what it says here. Oh, I thought it would list things, but it doesn't. Let's see what it says. It says 65 and up, that age has consumed more cannabis than any other age group recently, according to this new poll. So they're puffing up a storm. I'm almost in that list. I'm almost in there.
Right? And they were hiding it, and they had kids. You know, they were talking to boomers like my mom.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's legal. Finally, we're in our 70s, and it's finally legal. Fuck, let's go.
Let's
Right?
go. Yeah, exactly.
Hiding it from everybody else because it's been the thing for, like I said, we should have had legal weed when Crutched. Jimmy Carter was looking at legalizing cannabis. Like, this should have been done in the 70s, not the fucking 2000s.
They say that according to the recent study, which was published in the Journal of American Medical Association, 7% of elderly adults admitting to using cannabis in the last month of back in 2023. These figures had increased from 4.8% in 2021. Now, what else? I would think
they all know the world's going to shit, so they're just going to fucking smoke themselves to death.
Yeah.
They smoke themselves to death, so at least they can be happy while they're having to deal with the world's shit.
Now, they say that the study results show that the researchers found a more significant increase in consumption among older adults who suffered from chronic health problems. It ranged from heart disease and high blood pressure to diabetes, COPD, cancer, and more. And there you go, people who are dealing with COPD, breathing, lungs, all that, consuming cannabis in order to help them.
Coughing your fucking brains out, it's going to get rid of some of that shit that's caught up.
Yeah. They say that approximately 1 in 5 older adults reported to have consumed more cannabis over the past year. The researchers found that 21% of the poll participants over 50 years of age said that they would consume cannabis, while over 60% said that they rely on it for better sleep, relaxation, and pain relief.
Yeah, you betcha. And that's the thing, like, you know, like you can take amitriptyline, you can take, you know, what is it, Imovane, and all the, you know, the pills the doctors will give you. You still aren't going to anywhere as good as you will with you smoke.
And they say that
something, and I'll put you.
They say it's worrying though that less than half of them said that they discussed cannabis use with their healthcare providers.
Well, that's another business. That, you know, health is your business.
Yeah.
Your doctors, you're 90% of the that's because seniors aren't stupid either. They know the stigma. They know they've had to hide it for 80 years themselves. They know their doctor's probably going to look their noses down at them, and they probably had a good, you know, relationship with their doctor. And these times with doctors being so slim and you can't with their doctor, if they might have any inclination, that doctor is not going to approve, and have a possibility of that doctor like saying, I'm not seeing you anymore because you're choosing cannabis. Or if they have to take the pharmaceuticals, I've heard this happen before, where a doctor will say, well, you don't need the hydromorphine because you're using cannabis, so why would I prescribe you? If you say you're using cannabis for pain, then why would I give you that? And then when it doesn't do what it's supposed to, and they go back to the doctor looking for the pain meds, the doctor's thinking you're drug seeking.
Oh yeah. They say the older you get, you know, things change in your body, and they say that people find that as the older you get, lower doses of THC can be strong for them. You know, we talked about that 5 milligram gummy while I was away there the other weekend.
Well, our bodies.
Yeah, and they're suggesting here, as we as advocates have been doing for years, start low, then go up, right?
We always have, and we've always said we've always said low and slow.
Yeah, always. That's what they're still suggesting.
That's always been the the suggestion that I've given anybody, and I also tell them straight out, I'm not a medical professional. I cannot give you any medical advice. I'm giving you experiences from my usage, and that's it. I'm not even explaining to people what other people have told me because it's not my story to tell. They want more information from other patients. They can watch our shows. They can, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much information on our shows and stuff. Sit down and watch us even for 15 minutes. You'll learn so much, right?
Now, they go on to say that, okay.
We're going to start this. I finally got it rolled. We'll see.
Now, according to a 2022 study, whose results were published in Drugs and Aging Journal, Canadian researchers analyzed cannabis consumption patterns amongst 10,000 participants, aged 65 years and up. The patients patients were observed over the course of a 6-year period. All of them had valid prescriptions and licensed doctors in Canada and consumed medical cannabis products. They consumed either oil extracts or cannabis flowers, most of them with high CBD percentages. They found that many patients admitted they could reduce their prescription medications after cannabis use, and researchers found that specifically 36% of participants consumed less opioids, while 20% increased benzo consumption.
Well, that's one milestone.
Yeah.
Now she's coming off her benzones. She's coming off her medication.
Well, there's more of that the harm reduction end of things.
Okay, so this is this is what this stuff is. Burning gray, and it's actually got some nice flavor to it.
Does it?
Yeah.
So what are you smoking?
The grenade. This is this stuff.
Oh.
Grenade. What is it? Grenade.
Grenade. Yeah, I got it on the screen now.
So I just picked this up today.
Fight Club. So is the brand Grenade and the strain is called Fight Club?
No, it's powered by Sitka. So Sitka, I was just reading what it says on the back. Powered by it's called SITKA, Sitka, and it says Sitka grows and collaborates with the legends of the industry to supply premium cannabis that speaks for itself. We always have and always will support the legacy-founded businesses and producers of the cannabis industry. This is produced in, like I said, in BC somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's called Sitka Legends.com.
Oh.
And it's, like I said, it's tasty. It's good. It's brand new. I just got this today. Like I said, this is my taste test. That's the first joint I've smoked out of this bag.
Yeah. And how is it?
It's good. That's what I was just saying.
Yeah, I know. yeah.
It's got a nice flavor to it, and it's supposed to be 33.6% THC. That part's sleeping. It's good.
Yeah. Now, as far as these seniors, to say for aging individuals who are interested in cannabis, researchers still urge them to consult with healthcare providers. Yeah.
I don't even talk to my doctor much about cannabis because I'm getting prescriptions for methotrexate and stuff with the RA.
Right.
And if I just don't even bring it up because she just poo-poos it anyway. She just
I've talked to my new nurse practitioner, and she told me that if I needed the signature, that she could send me somewhere to get that done.
But she wouldn't do it herself.
Well, that was the thing, right? I didn't go anywhere with it because I already have a doctor that signed.
I know, but again, like, why does she have to direct you somewhere else? Why can't she just do it herself?
Yeah, exactly. And who knows? Maybe she doesn't realize that. I don't know.
She probably does. But like I said, my doctor, when I went to get my renewal too, like it wasn't that she could. Ken Brown, who owns the clinic doctor, he doesn't want the stigma attached to the doctor. Yeah. He doesn't want the College of Physicians looking at any of the doctors or for anything that they might be doing that the College of Physicians don't want, because then it puts a black mark on the clinic, right, and on that doctor. And as it is, my doctor's already the drug addiction doctor in town. She's the one that does. Because only certain doctors apparently can prescribe methadone and Suboxone. And I wasn't aware of this. They have to have a special licensing for that specific harm reduction drug, and I didn't know that. It's different. They can all prescribe narcotics, right? They can all prescribe opioids and all else, but you have to have a special licensing to be able to prescribe methadone and Suboxone and Acadia, the new one. Well, my GP is actually the addiction doctor, so she's got enough stigma because of that. Because this town's like so like conservative,
right?
The cannabis, it's like no, we're not going to touch that. Add another knock to the clinic because the College of Physicians don't like them. They don't want.
Yeah, I talked to my new specialist because I have a new specialist. Mine is retired, and I talked to my new specialist about it. I told him I use cannabis and so on and so forth, and he agreed with the benefits and everything. And I didn't need a signature at the time, so I didn't ask for one. But I feel comfortable that he'll sign mine when this one that finally arrived. That started the process back in late January.
I know it's been a while. They finally showed
it was mailed out. I got it right here. Okay. It was issued to me. It expires on June the 11th of 2026. Okay, so June 11th is when it was granted to me.
Right.
I sent it in originally in late January, but there was a problem. They didn't like the old. I used the old form, and they wanted their new form used, so I had to resubmit it. I got that back. I got that back in, I'm going to say by the 1st of March. It returned to me. It was the middle of February. I got it right back out within 24, 48 hours. So they would have received it, but before the 1st of March. It was approved June the 11th. It was put in the mail June the 24th.
March, April. So March, April, May, June. Only 3 months.
It was approved on the 11th, and it took 2 weeks for it to get in the mail. It took 2 weeks. So the license is only really good. Then it's got to be mailed.
What's the date today? July the.
No, I got it about a week, less than a week ago.
I know, but still, it took 10 fucking weeks.
It was another 2 or 3 weeks, another week or two in the mail before it got.
It still took 10 fucking weeks. They always say it could take up to 10 weeks, and it's like they hold it, right? Well, if you count the weeks, because it's been 3 months, right? So you got 4, 8, and then you got it mid-June, June-ish. No, 8, 12. So
no, I got it in June. I got it in.
So we were talking 15 weeks. Yeah, it's 14 weeks. It took 15
weeks. It was close to 2 weeks before it got to me.
So 15 weeks it took to get you. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's way more than 10.
Well, so much for that 6 to 8 weeks thing.
Oh, yeah.
I got to say, in all the years that I have gotten my license, this is the longest it's ever taken.
Well, it might take longer now because now they're going to lean up the ministries. Remember, they gave the Ministry of Marijuana a little more people, and they gave them a little more budget so they could actually expand it because of the licensed productions. Now I almost guarantee that's going to get slashed back again. They still don't got a new lamination machine, right? So,
we'll never see that again.
I don't have to send pictures in anymore. I didn't have to send pictures. I don't think the last time I had to.
No.
Or any ID or anything.
No.
But
you gotta fold up that great big piece of paper that's in this legal size envelope and put it in your wallet.
I don't. I leave it at home.
I carry an old expired card with me. The old laminate.
I carry an old expired license with me and tell them to get back.
Yeah. I carry the old card with me, and now, in the early days, legalization wasn't here. Now, if they see you smoking a joint on the sidewalk, they're not as if they're going to come up and arrest you for smoking a joint like they used to, right? So,
No, they probably
Really,
wouldn't.
yeah,
They
bothered.
probably wouldn't even waste your time. But again, I
Correct.
don't know. Like, they had the rally in Vancouver, and apparently the cops showed up there to
Okay.
a little bit of a hassle. And it's like, but again, they're selling illegal product, right? And that's not legal. Like, whether we like that or not, you can't take your
Mhm.
brownies out to a park in Vancouver and put up a canopy and we're having a pot sale. That's not legal.
I know a guy who goes to a market. I'm gonna say with about an hour from me. He goes to a weekly market on the weekend, and he's posting all the time about his CBD products being available at the market.
CBD products.
Yeah.
They're getting away with C because Jen here with her body butter too. It's a topical. It says CBD, right? Because that's
But
what
it's still controlled. It still hasn't got
they're letting
that.
her in the farmer's market too. Just saying.
Yeah.
But that's not brownies, and that's not bags of weed, and that's not rolled up joints.
No.
Right? But these guys are doing rolled up joints and like bags of weed.
Yeah, this fellow that I'm thinking about, he's just selling salves and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm selling any plant material. I think it's like capsules and.
Like I said, again, that's not something that you're gonna have to explain to a child that's at the farmer's market what it is, right? Even though we should be teaching them that, hey, this is cannabis. It's used.
No, we should. People, yeah, I agree that I didn't.
They don't want it. They don't want it out in the open. They don't want it advertised. Like I said, the only reason why they took the blinds off the stores is for protection of people in the stores from not getting robbed.
Yeah. Yep. What do we got? We got less than 2 minutes before we go to break.
Well,
when we get back from break, let's get into some studies, some health studies when we get back from the break. I've got a couple here.
I wonder if Israel's had any time to do any cannabis studies between bombing people.
I know that they've removed the thought of applying that 165% tariff on the cannabis that Canadian producers send there.
They have 125% tariff on our cannabis.
165% tariff is what they were threatening to do. I heard or read that's been stopped, so that's not going to happen.
How about we just don't send them any at all? I'd be down with that. Don't send them any.
I know you would, but the patients. Think of the patients.
Grow their own
if they can. So, all right, let's head over for break. I gotta see if I got is everything they said before that last break. I don't want to mess up again, right?
You know what? Shit happens. That's how
it does.
And
that's what you can always tell we're live because we didn't edit out. We don't edit out bloopers, right?
No, and there's plenty.
Yeah, they do happen. All right, there we go. We're gonna head off for break, and this time we're gonna be just under 3 minutes. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net and 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
All right, you're back with the Pace Radio Show. We're live, and we're just talking about studies and cannabis substitution programs and a few other things. I'm gonna do a shout out.
Awesome.
Biggie Big Buds, Stevie Biggs.
Stevie Biggs, nice.
He saw me post a picture of my rolling papers, my Gazette papers.
Yeah.
Right? And then he says, "Hey, you looking for some? I got a box or two laying around here I can sell you." And I said, "Hey, yes, I will take those because my present supplier can't get them."
No.
So a box of these has got 20 packs in it.
Right on.
So right now, my inventory, I've got 58 packs.
Well, I ran out of my blue
That's
zig.
5,800 joints.
Yeah, I ran out of my blue zigzag, so I had to borrow a pack of these, and I actually haven't been minding them. They don't burn bad. They're nice. Like I'm not usually a huge fan of the brown papers, but it's unbleached, all natural Arabic gum, and it's unrefined pure hemp paper.
Yeah. He also sent me some gifts as well. So I'm going to on Tuesday on the Hi Guys, I'm going to be testing out this shatter that he sent along as a gift, and it's a blueberry kush and a berry white.
Nice. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and then I had a friend give me a Snoop Dogg blunt wrap. Ooh,
I haven't seen those before.
He got it at actually, I think I know why. I thought I had seen that it was only available in the U.S. But no.
That's possible.
Yeah, it was something else. I went to a friend's place and he went to the Grow Up conference in Toronto. So he got some gifts while he was there. And he got a couple of those, so he gave me one, and we tested one. We actually smoked one while I was at his place.
Great, well, that's nice. That's terrific.
Yeah, it's no tobacco. It's crafted with all natural acai, ACAI, and herbal
acai, yeah,
and herbal tea leaf.
Oh yeah, acai.
That's what it's made with.
You can drink acai too.
Yeah,
it's lovely. Like strong acai, it's just a beautiful drink. You get them at Starbucks, nice and refreshing. Like This I don't usually do
Smoke
Starbucks.
some, then. You can smoke the leaf.
Yeah. And then you can drink it too.
You can drink it. There you go. All right. Now, I mentioned excuse me, some stuff about studies. I've seen one there that says that frequent cannabis use tied to lower cancer screenings.
I'm good.
Yeah. It says that frequent and moderate users of cannabis may be less likely to follow through with recommended screenings for various types of cancer. Why? Why is that? Okay. They aim to elevate the relationship between cannabis use and frequency and adherence to recommended breast, prostate, cervical, and colorectal cancer screenings. Just trying to see where there's some numbers here. They analyzed data gathered from a behavioral risk factor surveillance system surveys, and they focused on men and women deemed eligible for recommended cancer screenings.
People that use cannabis don't go get them. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, that's what it looks like it's saying. Yeah, I was thinking it's less likely, but yeah.
People that use cannabis are like
Yeah, they did 229,000 patients.
Yeah, but
They were included in the analysis.
how many people have we met over the years that were using cannabis for medical but didn't have a medical doctor? When they were going to see a medical clinic to get their medical licensing for cannabis because
Yeah.
they could use the cannabis if they ate it, if they drank it, if they smoked it, if they shoved it in every orifice of their body, was going to keep them away from the doctor because they didn't want to go to a doctor to have to deal with what they might have going on.
So you think that they're not going because they're starting to feel better?
Either that or they're just, their symptoms are at bay.
Basically, fuck it. I'm not going to do it.
They don't want to see a doctor. They're scared of a doctor. There's a lot of trauma. Like a lot of the patients that I helped get licensed didn't have a medical doctor. They had a diagnosis, and since they had that diagnosis, the doctor wanted to prescribe them a whole bunch of pills and a whole bunch of stuff and a whole bunch of treatments that they didn't want, right? And I'm just there to facilitate getting them the licensing so they can grow their own, so they can do whatever they want to juice. They want to do what they're growing their own, right?
Yeah.
It's me to tell them that they have to see a medical doctor. Now, if they've got the diagnosis paperwork that they need to go see that medical clinic that we have to have, if you go see a signing doctor, they don't just sign you because you sit there and say, well, I've got this and I got a headache, my tooth hurts.
Yeah.
I don't sleep very well. Like, that's not going to get you these doctors that do sign you to sign you. That's not going to fly. I had to have paperwork from my GP to take to the doctor in Ontario. He had to see them, right? It wasn't like I could just say, hey, I've got this. He wanted to see the paperwork, so I had it. And then it was kind of different because I had a doctor in Hannah that would sign for me. Right? Once I left Alberta, well, I didn't leave Alberta. Once I left Tabor, once I moved to that farm, my doctor in Hannah that I had believed in quality of life, and he said, I don't know whether it helps your colitis or not, but I believe if it makes your quality of life better, charge me it. And it was his clinic, and he signed it every time until I moved. And then my doctor here signed it the first time for both Alvin and I. And then we went to get renewed. Licensing had already, legalization had already come in down back. And she said, why would I prescribe you this when you can go to a store and get that? Makes no sense to me. And I explained I wanted to grow my own and stuff. And then it was kind of like, well, the clinic kind of, gave me a bit of, grief. And it was like, okay, wait, you're right. I got me.
Yeah, I didn't want you to grow, right? Yeah.
So I just left it. And I've never gotten a license since. No, that's not true. I did get one right after that, but it was like just a possession, like no growth. And if I wanted that licensing to be able to grow, that clinic that I used wanted $850 for that paperwork.
Oh, I paid for one. And that was $50. That was almost 20 years ago.
Right, but it was an LP. If you were signing up for an LP, it was free, no problem. Right, so you had to pick the private.
The LP stand for it.
Right, but if I want to beg, and that's what I said. What if I want to grow my own? Well, that's another form. I said, no, it's not. I said, you have to fill that form out and then you have to flip it over and sign the back of that form in order for me to have to use the licensed producer. So no, there's no extra form. Like thinking that I'm stupid or something, right? I'm just realize that, you know the form. And she goes, okay. And then they phone me back. She goes, yeah, we can do that, but it'll be $850. And I just kind of like, are you fucking kidding me?
$850.
And I said, well, I guess I can't afford that. We'll just take the whatever.
They're trying to reclaim the money that they would couldn't. They can't bill the government for.
No, again, is that how much the licensed producers were paying per licensing to these doctors? Like, you know, if that's like if they were trying to, like you said, are they recouping the money that the licensed producer would have paid them for me to?
Yeah, licensed producer would have paying that clinic.
Right. So is that the amount that the clinic was getting paid by the licensed producer?
Maybe, or maybe it's less, and they're just scooping some more money off of it. Right?
Maybe, but I'm just thinking but it could be like maybe that's what the licensed producers are paying me. Like maybe that's what the $850 is what that registered nurse or practitioner is getting paid to see that patient from the fucking licensed producer, because they're not getting paid through OSDP. They're not getting paid through the government, and it's a licensed or a nurse practitioner that's signing the papers. So I bet
I know
$50 was probably per patient to the licensed practitioners.
I know with Limestone City Hydroponics, like there's a fee that goes to the doctor who's doing the paperwork for their time or whatever. I don't know what the fee is offhand, but there's a charge there, but it goes to the doctor or the company that they deal with.
Right.
They're dealing with a company, it goes to them, and wherever the money is distributed is distributed.
Well, the company that did this was that fucking Namaste 420 Cannabis. It's probably the same group they're working with, because it was all under the same clinic. Because when I went to do a clinic here with that fellow from Quebec, I found out this group of doctors that they're using are the same group of people that are doing almost every clinic across Canada.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of people out there that are needing them. So,
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I think but I mean the price, the cost. I don't doubt that a doctor should charge that. Like $850 to see a doctor for that. That's what the doctor's charging, though. It is a doctor. I don't know.
Yeah, it's costly. It's awful costly. All right, talking about doctors' costs, we'll move on to another report. It says that Poland has done a study that finds that hemp seed oil mitigates eczema symptoms.
Orally or topically?
I am going to say it is topically, but I haven't found that yet. It talks about what this condition is. This was done based in Poland with a researcher affiliated with De Montfort University of Leicester in the UK. It was in the current issue of Pharmacy and Medical Sciences. And it says the epidemiological studies conducted over the past 35 years indicate a twofold rise in incidences linked to environmental factors. It goes on about atmosphere pollutions and so on and so forth. They use a transdermal delivery, so it was a patch with an emulsion compounded with cholesterol ointment. They used hemp seed oil, white petroleum jelly, purified water, and ura to the skin of hands of a 23-year-old male patient, absorbing the stuff since infancy. Yeah. The emulsion was applied to the skin once daily before sleep and covered with cotton gloves for the night for the occlusion effect for a period of 3 months. So cover your hands in the stuff, put the gloves on, and for 3 months they did that. It reduced the inflammation, and then there's some other words that I can't pronounce, as well as the scaling of the skin. Oh, and some more words I can't pronounce. So it looks like there's like about 6 different benefits.
You
When I,
know,
when,
like,
I do, when I do the news broadcast, I try to say those words.
it's funny because I've asked the doctor because Taven's got eczema too, right?
Yeah.
And he's been struggling with it like most of his life. It's on his legs, it's in between his legs, it's in his groin and his elbows. Like it's, you know, and it's painful, right? In between here, like, you know,
Yeah.
it gets sore and red. And I asked them about like a biologic or like, you know, like we've got Humira and
Yeah.
all these
It's an
medications,
autoimmune condition, correct?
right? And they won't. It's all topical. Even the pediatrician said, no, he's not. I wouldn't start him on that. No, let's see what we can do with
For
the
eczema,
dermatologist.
you know, for psoriasis, I've seen them use biological these medications that I've been on
Well,
with.
I see the commercials in the States, right? So maybe it's medications that we aren't able to have here either because
Right.
of
Could be.
our FDA and stuff. But I see they've got, like I said, oral medications for these kids that are like, you know, 2 and up that have got eczema that they're, you know, using in the States. And I'm thinking, why won't they just give that to him so he doesn't have to struggle with this? Like, you know, the dermatitis on his back and, you know, all these things from COVID and oh God. And now
Yeah.
the this, and yeah, I gotta, yeah, he needs to do this. Yeah.
Hey. I'm just looking at this other report here. I think we know. I know. I haven't read these or anything. I'm just going by the headline. So it says, "What gives cannabis strains their distinctive smells and flavors?"
Ooh,
Terpenes.
yeah, I was just gonna say, is this a trivia question?
Yeah. A new scientific review sheds the light. It says.
Oh, it's so funny. Is this trivia night?
Yeah.
Like, depends. So, like, some people don't know that. Like, they think it's, I don't know what they think. But again, like, if you don't know, I guess you don't know.
It says here a wide array of molecules, which include terpenes, flavonoids, phenols, aldehydes, ketones, esters, and sulfur-containing compounds, are behind the sensory profiles of cannabis.
Oh,
Which terpenes are the most prominent ones. So it's more than just the terpenes.
wow. Well, you know, I'm always about the taste and the smell.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for me. Like, if it doesn't taste good and smell good, I don't want to smoke it.
Right.
Like, I get in the bag and you pull, you know, take your first little puff on it, and
Yeah.
it tastes like it's been eradicated. It just tastes. You can tell that there's just nothing. It's just like.
Now they say the productions of those chemicals or those, you know, different terpenes and stuff is determined through both the plant's genes as well as its metabolic and environmental conditions. So if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
growing in a shitty spot, you know, it's going to affect the flavor of your plant.
Oh, for sure. Like, you don't want to have. Yeah, you don't want to be like in a room
Yeah.
next to a room that's you're cooking, and you know what I mean. Like, all that stuff absorbs. Why you don't
Yeah.
want to go wearing perfume, pull your hair back, like make sure you're. Yeah, it does. And when you're drying it, like you don't want to be doing any air diffusers, any air freshener.
Yeah, exactly.
Any of that, because when you're drying or curing your cannabis, if you're
I can remember years and years ago there was some that was around, and this was well before legalization. But it always tasted like that air freshener, the orange citrus air freshener. When you think, oh, is that person trying to hide the smell of their cannabis by using an air freshener?
they're growing it probably in a plant or something they're not supposed to. So they've got an ionizer going, and they're running it probably diffusing every air freshener they can to hide the smell of cannabis being grown. Meanwhile, that plant is absorbing that air because that's what plants do. They absorb the air and, you know, the oxygen and put it, or, you know, to put out carbon monoxide. Like, they're the same as any other plant, right? At night they're putting out carbon monoxide. During the day they're putting out oxygen. Same shit. Cannabis or not. So they're absorbing that crap out of the air that you're spraying every time you spray it, and yeah, your butt's gonna taste like air freshener.
Yeah, they say robust agricultural properties such as optimized nutrient and water use, temperature tolerance, pest resistance, and shortened grow life remains critical in order to, you know, for your cannabinoids and aroma profiles, which is so true. Yeah.
That's decent cannabis. I'm liking that.
Yeah.
Yep, I would buy that again. I would
Would
give
ya?
that. I would give this probably, and I would say a 9.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That's good. So Fight Club by Grenade or Sitka. It's a BC company that, like I said, powered by Sitka, Sitka.
Now, for those who ask, what's the THC levels again?
33%.
What?
33.6% total THC.
I'm sorry, but when I hear about those, I like to see an actual retest of that.
Well, I'm telling you, it kicked me in the ass. So,
Did it?
yeah, like it's kind of laid me back.
Is it indica? Sativa?
Yeah. I don't smoke. Because usually, if I smoke sativa, I'm sleeping. Like sativa puts me right to fucking sleep. It burns me out, and I'm wanting a nap every time I smoke it. Or if I can't sleep, I buy a sativa so I can go to bed. I'm having issues sleeping because, like I said, you get that little bit of a whatever, and then it burns me right out. So then I'm just like, oh god, I'm tired. So sativa, no. I've been smoking. I smoke indica because it doesn't make me go to sleep. Like it makes me just kind of like, okay, I'm feeling okay, and now I can get up, and I gotta go, finish shampooing my car, and it gives me that, I get up and want to clean my house.
Yeah.
Hey, I already vacuumed the car out already.
What's that?
I went out there and vacuumed the car already before the show. And then it was like 5:40 or whatever. No, it wasn't 5. It was 5. It was just after 5. It was 5:04. I come ready. I just so to make sure I wasn't late for the show.
Yeah. Let's see, what else have I got here in front of me? Do Americans support cannabis legalization? Wow. The Pew Research Center conducted a survey from January the 22nd to February the 2nd of this year. And they say those who answered, they said that 87% believe that cannabis should be legalized. Over half of that group, which is 54%, said the plant should be legal for both medical and recreational use, while the remaining third only supported medical use. They found that 52% of the adults in the country believe cannabis legalization is beneficial to local economies, and 42% believe it makes the justice system more fair. 27% believe that if cannabis were legal recreationally, people would use heroin, fentanyl, and cocaine less, which is good news. People believe that helps with the harm reduction. And 21% believe it would make communities safer in general. Does that mean that 80% of the people think it wouldn't make it safer? I don't know. It doesn't say.
Was it 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was a month ago now? Because this last month was kind of in a wash. It's market anyway. So maybe it was before. Maybe it was in May. We had that story up that Texas was trying to take the medical.
Yeah, correct. I think they got vetoed.
Did it? Okay. So
I believe that's what I read.
Any follow up on that? So I was wondering because I know that the state of Texas was trying to take their legal market away from them. And I don't think Louisiana. I should get a hold of Jerry and see if we can have him on the show or something, and get a update on what's going on in Louisiana too, because there's different times down there. That's for sure.
Things are constantly changing down there.
Blink, 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 blink. Like, you don't ever know what that orange potato is going to do now.
All right. You got anything else offhand? I haven't got any more. Well, I do have right. Forgot all about this. Holy crap. Can't forget about this. Okay. Now, what you got here? This looks like a Canadian cannabis leaf flag.
It's a Canadian cannabis flag, and because I'm little, I can't hold it up. But I took this to TY in 2013.
So that's the Treating Yourself Expo.
Yeah. So
in 2013.
Yeah. So I ran around and got everybody's signatures on here. So I have.
Let's see who we got.
Okay, so we have Debbie Stelz Giffen from Mom.
Yep.
Right there. Can you see it?
Okay, yeah, you don't have to show it. You don't have to show it.
And then
Just,
we've got,
just read them off.
okay, so then we've got, let's see, I've got to read Judy Enright. And then we've got Deb Marpa and somebody I can't read.
Okay.
Somebody else I can't read.
There's going to be a few of those.
Leela.
Leela, okay.
Yeah, Leela. This is in green. It's hard to read. Kirk Tusaw.
Yeah, lawyer Kirk Tusaw.
Nathan Bonet. Caitlin Walters or Walton. Or Cole Walton. Puff Mama, Lisa Kirkman.
Okay, I know those two, obviously.
I have no idea. I can't read it.
Puff Mama, she's having a big event. I don't know if it's a fundraiser or not, but there's something to do with the comedians and all that she does for her shows.
Oh no, I'm talking Lisa Kirkman, but Joanna Puff Mama. Yeah, no.
Yeah, Joanne, correct.
Yeah, but this was Lisa Kirkman. She's Mama.
Yeah, Mama Hawk. Not Mama Hawk. Sorry,
No.
That's Cheryl. That's Cheryl.
I
Sorry.
can't even remember anymore.
Oh, it's been so long. It's been so long.
Lisa Kirkman. I can't even remember what she goes by anymore. Because she just goes by Lisa Kirk. Puff Mama. No, yeah, Puff Mama.
No. This is two of them. Joanne, Puff Mama too.
Is she Puff Mama?
Yeah. Okay, so keep reading the names off.
Jared from Medtainer. Oh, that's John Burfello, Medtainers, Canada.
Yeah.
Pierce Farm, Saskatoon. James Eagle. One Love, the Hubbles, which is Caleb and his wife Kimberly. So Caleb Hubble.
Yeah.
They're from Saskatchewan too. He's a Saskatchewan. Okay, we got Puff Mama on here again, and I think this is John Conroy.
Yeah. Lawyer, another lawyer.
And
I'm very instrumental on where we are today.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all I've got on here. But that's all I can. Yeah.
I guess I just flew by wherever you were with that.
You know what? Like, it's hard to say.
I was there.
Yeah, and I mean, it could be that I think I only brought it the one day because I was there, and then I just kind of like didn't bring it. That's probably what happened.
Yeah. And like I didn't have opportunities to like hang around or.
No, I remember you busy running around taking pictures, doing interviews. You had your own booth going on, and you and Deb. I remember Deb being there.
Deb was there.
Yeah, but I do remember meeting you.
Oh yeah. We got together. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like I said because you were busy and I was over. Well, depending on what year, because the first year I went out there, with Dana Larson, right? Like, and I was in Prohibition booth, right?
Yeah.
And then the second time I went out there, I was with Normal Women's Alliance.
Yeah.
So I've been out there twice, and those were the times that I worked in the booths, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we can fold it back up. That was a project. But but I found it today, and like I said, it's more memorabilia that, because I'm going through stuff to throw stuff out, but this is one of my things that is not going to be thrown out.
Yeah.
This stinks.
It sticks, Brown. All right, anything else offhand? I'm going to sign us off.
Have a great week. We'll be back on Monday on Cannabis and Coffee with Marijuana, and send money for CSP at tamaralee9@hotmail.com. And thanks to my sponsors that have been helping and will continue to help me help others. And yeah.
All right. Talking about sponsors, thank to our sponsors, Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, At-Eze.ca. And next week we'll be back with Cheryl and Haley Rose. Got the call last minute, for the show that they couldn't make it, and but we've we've asked them, or we've rescheduled them to appear next week. So we'll go with that. Other than that, thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight, and good night. We'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Let's share PACE everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education. You're listening to the PACE Radio Network here at paceradio.net.